It's another rainy day here in central Indiana. I've got some work to be done at my house over the next few months, and the number of videos I'm going to be making are going to really slow down because I've got some things to do. We're replacing windows and doors and siding, and I've got to do some work on my deck, and so the number of videos are probably going to really slow down over the next few months. But it's raining outside today. I can't work on anything outside, or don't want to work on anything outside in the rain. So we're going to do a little project today here in the shop. Somebody asked me or made a comment a couple weeks ago that I probably got enough parts around this shop to build a bike from scratch. So that's what we're going to do today. I picked up this Ice Bear, which is a clone of a CT70. I picked this Ice Bear frame. I think I've got the headlight that goes with it, and I've got a brake pedal that goes with it, if I'm not mistaken. I got it from YouTube subscriber David Jackson up in the Michigan area. And so we're going to take this frame, and we're going to take a few hours this afternoon. We're not going to worry about what it looks like, what the parts look like, but we're going to dig around piles of tires and boxes of parts, and my little roll around thing here that I have all my parts on, seats back there. And we're just going to see if we can assemble a bike and fire it up. We're just going to put a life in it. I've shown you guys before. I've got some boxes down here with life-ins in them. I need to use them. I need to make projects out of them. So that's what we're going to do. So by the time today is over, hopefully we will have a running and riding bike, and then we'll use it for future videos down the road to clean it up and make it look a little nicer. But for today, we're just going to see if we can throw it together. All right, so as you can see, I have pulled a engine out of a box and mounted it to my little stand. And the idea is that I'm going to take the frame, set it on the engine, and then just build out the bike from there. But the first thing we have to do is, this does not have any bearing races in there. So we have got to, before we put a front end in, we've got to put some bearing races in there to hold it. We've got little thing, I've got all kinds of extra races and caps and so forth. So, and I believe the Ice Bear is pretty much just a direct clone of the CT70. There might be some subtle differences. I know it weighs more. We did that one time. We weighed them, and I think the frame, this frame weighed, I think it was nearly 3 pounds more than the a stock CT70 frame. I'm just taking a socket and fits in there. I think the story went, and David will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he picked this bike up, which was a complete bike, and he stripped it down and put all the parts on a CT70 frame he had. All right, sorry, I'm gonna have to make some noise here. That's in there all the way. Okay, which one of these bolts? I think that goes for it's the bottom one. see if we have to do any modifications to get it to fit. We shouldn't. I don't think so. I just gotta get the holes to line up. Come on. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and get this buttoned down, get it fastened on here, and then we will dig out a front end and put on there and see if we can't start maybe front to back. I don't know. We'll see how it works out. Let me get that engine bolted down. So I buy a lot of used parts. Guys are building bikes and they're modifying them, putting different front ends or whatever on them. And I bought this as a complete front fork assembly. I got it off of a fellow by the name of Ron Raymond. From the paint chip on that I see here on the fork ear, it looks like it was a shiny orange, so it looks like maybe this front end is off of a 77. But it should just bolt right up on here. Sorry, I should have had some of this done, but this may be a long video. I'll just let it roll, let you guys. Just for reference, it's 11:30-ish on today, on Monday morning. So we're starting at around 11:30. Oh, bummer. We'll have to weld. The top of that has broken off. Not all that uncommon. Wow, this thing, somebody had painted this thing. It's a custom color, but wow, the paint on it looked tremendous. Where's that guy go? Actually, I think I want to turn the bearing over. There we go. It's even got bearings that aren't the loose balls. They're the captured in a frame. That's cool. I probably bought this front end a couple of years ago. I got it and the seat. I think I got the handlebar controls, maybe. He went with a whole custom front end, disc brake and all that kind of stuff on the front end. Oh, we're gonna be a little top heavy, aren't we? Gonna be a little front heavy. We might not be able to completely do the front end before we go to the back end. and it'll be coming back apart. Yes, I did not put any grease or anything on the bearings. We're just throwing it together just to see if we can make it work today. That feels pretty good. Okay. Fork here. Well, we may have to come back and revisit that before we can put a headlight on it. So we'll just kind of just set this stuff on here. Looks like the forks aren't pushed up in there evenly either, so we'll have some adjustments to make, but I don't want to get too heavy on the front here and not let it sit. So I think now we may switch to the back. Okay. There's that. Let me shocks. We've got lots of shocks. Those two, I got paint on them and they're kind of ugly, but we're gonna need some washers so that those don't slide over. Okay, I gotta go grab a few parts because I need the washers so that the shock doesn't slide all the way over. Yeah, so let me grab that. Let me grab a few things here. All right, so I've got, you put a bigger washer that fits up against the shoulder on the largest part of the shaft there. That way it keeps the bushing from pushing out of the shock. Wow, that got some long studs on them. Huh. They must have had thicker, or these must have had a much thicker mount on the top of the shock, because I've got, wow, there's almost 3/4 of an inch thread sticking out there. So that acorn nut is not going to tighten up against that. So we'll have to just get some hex nuts and put on there for now on the two top ones. And obviously this one gets the exhaust too, so okay. All right, so we got shocks. I wonder if that swing arm's tightened. It doesn't seem like it's tight. Before I forget, go taking off and the swing arm comes off on me. Okay, there we go. All right, one thing I think I want to tackle before I get too far is the seat and the seat latch. These Ice Bears, they copy the 1990s CT70s and have a whole thing here, a pin on the bottom of the seat that goes down and latches. They don't use the latch. Although they've got the two holes, they don't have the hole in the side here for the handle to come up. Well, we're going to put an older style seat with a latch. I'm going to make some noise here, sorry. So let me round up a latch, round up a seat, a latch, and a drill. We got to put a hole in here, mount the latch, then put the seat on and see if we can get it all to work out right. The other thing we have to do for the seat latch to work is take off this little post right here. What happens is when you put the latch in, this piece comes back and hits that and won't go back far enough to allow the seat to unlatch. So I've got to cut that off too. So I've got a hole drilled here, and we're going to put a latch in that hole. Now these holes in the frame are pretty good size. They're, they don't have the welded captured nuts like a CT70 frame, so I'm going to try and use these shouldered bolts and come in from underneath and put a nut on the top. Well, I said that. You know what? Maybe it's not. Maybe I need to go the other way. Maybe I need to drop them down and put the nut on the bottom. That's why you leave the fender off while you're doing this, so that you can access the holes here underneath. You can't do this. You can't reach underneath here with if there's a fender on it. Okay, so that doesn't look too bad. Let's grab a seat. And this is one of those seats that I grabbed from that Bart Moto. That actually the seats come with a hinge. I find it interesting, the clone has studs that stick up rather than having a threaded nut in there. And I'm not gonna, when we redo this bike in the end, we'll put the little chrome strip on here, but for right now, for just bolting the bike together, we're not gonna put that on there. Nope, that's not gonna work, too big. And I may have to pull this back off. I want to go to put a tank in it, because the tank bracket, I might just have a K1 or later that actually goes up underneath those. But I kind of just wanted to see where we're at here. Pretty close, but the one thing I have found on when I used one of these Bart Moto seats on another project was that the rubber cushion is so thick. I haven't looked at it to see if it's thicker. These rubber cushions are so thick it holds it up too high to latch. And on the other project, I cut those rubber bushings or rubber cushions. I cut them about in half, and that worked pretty well. And I think we're going to have to do the same thing here. I don't like, the seat needs to sit down just a little bit farther. We could shim up the latch for today, which is I think what we might do. Might put some washers under there and shim this latch. I've got room in my hole. Shim that thing up just a little bit. Let me go get some washers, and let's do that and see how that looks. So I wound up having to basically put a longer bolt and put 2 nuts to shim the latch up a little bit. But I think we might have it now. Didn't grab socket. There we go. Perfect. So now we've got and it's a little loose, so that was probably the second nut was probably just a tad bit higher than what we needed to go, but it works. Like I said, we're not worried about, we'll dial it in when after we tear it apart and work on it, and to clean it really up. because I'm going to be putting some dirty rims and tires. I mean, it's not going to look good when we get done. Although I like the way the engine looks with that frame. That's about the same color. Too bad the frame's got some scratches on it, but yeah, we'll take all the stickers off and so forth. But okay, so I'm going to round up the rest of the rear end parts. I'm going to find a fender, a tail light bracket, a rear tire and assembly. Let me get all that worked up, and we'll start putting that on the bike. So I rounded up a rear fender. I've got a hub with a bad tire, but I've got a good tire on a decent rim, so we'll get that swapped out. Let's see if we can get the fender to mount up on here. Come on. I don't care how many times you do it. You turn that camera on and it always wants to fight you. Now I realize that the clone frame might be a... Let's go different. Let's try to put the top on first and then see how the bottom lines up. It should bolt up. If we have to, I guess we can make the holes a little bit bigger. Yeah, it's a little bit off. Yeah, we're not gonna... All right, I gotta modify this just a skosh to get those to line up. We're just a fraction off. So give me just a second. See if I get this a little closer. I just kind of opened up the bottom hole, so just a little bit. Maybe still not far enough. All right, give me a minute. I'll get that damn thing put on there. I didn't wind up modifying the holes at all anymore. I just tightened up the two top ones here, drawed the fender up tight, and then that brought those in close enough that I could actually get the bolts in there. Let's see. Probably gonna need a couple washers that I don't have really in front of me. Yeah, these will work. And the other thing, I'm not gonna put. We're gonna hope to put maybe lights on it today to see it, but I'm only going to put just a simple harness in it just to get it to run. We're not going to worry about hooking up lights today. We'll mess with that when we tear it back down. Oh, that bolt not long enough. I don't think it is. Nope, need a longer bolt. Bummer. All right, find a couple longer bolts. you and you would work. Sorry, guess I should move these, should move this stuff to the other end of the bike so I'm not keeping going out of frame. Just digging through my little bolt bin here. Okay. All right, let's see if we can get these rims and tires. Oh, dropped it. Alright, which one has nuts in them still? This one does over here. Well, apparently I didn't have the thread started on that one, did I? Alright, where'd the last bolt go? There it is. There's the washer, the nut. Okay, I can't use this rear sprocket. That thing is laid over on us. All the teeth are, it's well worn. We'll put a brand new one on. There you go. Okay. So now we need a brake plate. We need an axle, the adjusters, and the spacers. Got a box of different spacers. There we go. There we go, that's the one. This is the one that goes on the other side. All right, we need a brake plate. Okay. Got a brake plate, but it needs shoes. Oh my. Is it stuck? No, it's not stuck. All right, have to pry those old shoes. Look, it's missing the pad on that one. So let me pry those old shoes off of there and put some new brake shoes on it, and then I'll bring you guys back and we're ready to put it on the bike. So I lubricated the shaft up. It moves really freely, and put some new brake shoes on. I start by putting the little spacer on the axle, let the axle hang out. Try and feed it all up in there without knocking that spacer back off. Oh, damn it. You know what I forgot to do? Forgot to put the axle. I didn't grab any axle adjusters. Hang on a second. Take two. Axle adjusters. Or the chain adjusters, or whatever you want to call those things. Yeah, let's try that again. There we go. Now we got her heavy on the back end. Gotta hook the little brake stay up here. Awesome. Okay. I put that on there. Forgot to put tail light on it. It's gonna be a bitch getting the light on there now. Oh well. Getting a little closer to taking a ride. Okay, so yeah, we'll use that. Okay, so we need a front. Well, it's red, but it'll work. We need to find another tire and some hardware to put it on with. All right, that one acts like it's holding air. All right, so I got to do the same thing you saw me wrestle with on the back there. I got to bolt that hub into the center of that tire. Hopefully I have hardware to do that with, because those the nuts that are on the back side, they're the ones that the captured ones that fit in here. They're kind of a oddball size, and I don't know that you can just, I don't know if anybody remakes those or not, but anyway. All right, let me get that bolted together. Hell, you're not even looking at it, were you? It's down there, see it? All right, so I've done the same thing I did on the back. I've got the hub bolted in. I've got the brake plate with some new brake shoes on it. I'm not sure if this is adjusted right, so we may have to pull that back off, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and drop a speedo gear in there. Might be bent. No, it fit. There we go. Nice colors, right? Hey, it's what we got for now. May have to raise the bike up a little bit. Yeah, let's raise the bike up a little bit. Trying to get the little brake stay in the thing on the plate there. There we go. Fender on first. That's all right. We're good. All right. Put a washer on there, but it's too big to fit into the recessed area onto the axle, so we're just gonna not go with it for right now. There we go. That's better. Get a few more threads. That 14? Looks too small for 14. No, I think it is 14. Okay, there's that. Let's find a front fender. Probably should have checked the threads underneath there. I need a 10 millimeter. Did I not get a 10 millimeter out? Yeah, I've got a 10 millimeter out somewhere. Where is it, guys? There it is. We're not going to worry about a horn. Actually, the horn on this, for the forks of this bike, it mounted up on the ears. This looks to be a 77 front end from the orange color that's showing through, and the horn actually mounted up here. So we just need some bolts. Man, do I have any bolts long enough to go through all that? Not here. I don't. All right, give me a second again. Sorry, I gotta hunt some more hardware. Get on there. Okay, that looks good. All right, now somewhere I actually have the headlight for this bike. Okay, it's probably going to be a lot easier to put that on if I take the headlight off itself. So that's just on these. There's just 3 screws around it. Takes that headlight off. All right, so I've got the headlight bolted on. Thing I find interesting on this Ice Bear bike, that headlight, I think is metal. I think that's aluminum or something. It's not plastic like on the original ones. All right, so while we've got that, let's go ahead and grab a speedometer cable and maybe a brake cable, but let's at least see if we can find a speedometer and a speedometer cable to put in it. Bear with me, I gotta do some digging here. This is a speedometer off of another clone by the name of Sky Team. But I believe it should fit. Let's make sure this is going to go in down here. Come on, where you at? Come on, get in there. Well, looks like it's pointing. There we go. Ah, didn't go on there. Wasn't threading. I think it did at that time. Okay. Oh my, that might be, probably too short a cable. Well, that certainly looks like it's going to be too short a cable. I thought all CT70s used the same one. I don't want all that pressure on that cable. All right, I'm gonna back up here. See if I got something longer. Okay, I've got another cable that is slightly longer than the other one. Let's try it. All right, oh, there it slipped in there. I won't bore you guys with that. There we go. All right, I'll get that all snug that up and put it on there. So I wound up going with a black aftermarket speedometer cable. It was about a length that was between the original CT70 one and then that longer one, which was probably off a CL70 or something like that I had. This one seems to be a pretty good length for in there. I think I'm ready to try and find some handlebars. And we're going to need a mount for the handlebars. Got a couple different mounts. This is a aftermarket one, and it won't work because the bolt holes are a different spread. This one will, but I've got to take, it's still got the speedometer bracket for the round speedometer, which we're not using that, so I need to take this off. Let's see how hard it comes off. All right, it just bolts from the bottom. Flip a split washer way over there. So that'll mount there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take that top plate off of there. Man, I'm dropping everything. Take that top plate off of there and get this mounted on. So then we can put our handlebars and put a cable and that sort of thing on there. So let me get this all bolted together. All right, so we've got that bolted on. It's got the handlebars. You can tell that My handlebars are a little wonky. This one leans back way farther than the other one does. But that's a fix for another day. Today we're trying to make it go putt-putt and go for a ride. I can ride it with a little bit of a bent handlebar. So got that. I can't ride it without brakes. So let me find something to start putting some brakes on it. I have a bundle of just used brake cables that I've picked up off of different people or off bikes. I just kind of zip tie them together and hang them over there. That one actually has a barrel and pieces on it. Does it work? Yeah, there, that was easy enough. I picked this one because it actually has yeah, a couple other ones have some of the parts. It's got a barrel and the nut and all that kind of stuff here. So you're probably looking up and not down at this point. Okay, there's that. That will go up to the lever up there. Okay. We ought to find us a little clip and put on there while we're doing it. Okay, there's that. And we're going to need some hardware to put it on there with. The right hardware? Yeah, that'll work. It's kind of a rough looking clip, but and I just put it on there the wrong way. So how's it got to go on there? No, that'll put it that way. It's got to go like this. There, that'll work. Okay, I think I'm going to take a minute and kind of pick some of this stuff up, clear off the bench just a little bit, take the stand off of the engine. So now we can now we've got tires on it. We can roll it up into the wheel chalk. We need to take the cover off of here, grab a chain. Yeah, so give me a minute. When you come back, this will hopefully be a little cleaned up and the bike will be in the wheel chalk on the table. All right, so I've got the bike, got stand off of it, up in the chalk. I went and pulled some chain out of a box. Let's see if we've got a chain that will fit it. I'm starting to get crunched on time if I want to ride this thing today, so I've got to figure out what I'm doing and go. Oh boy, that one's way too long. Let's see if I got something shorter. Oh boy, I've got the old mess there. All right, there we go. Oh Lord, that might even be longer. Uh-oh, not in neutral. Remember that, we're not in neutral when we go to start it or do something with it. Okay, there we go. But I don't have master link. Ouch! Stab yourself in the finger and come on. I hate these damn master link, getting these clips off of here. All right, I'm gonna wrestle with getting that clip off of that master link, and then we'll put that chain together. Okay, I don't think I'm going to mess with a chain guard today. Because I've got to modify it to fit. And I don't want to take that time. We can ride it without a chain guard. So we won't, we'll eventually put a chain guard on it, but that's not going to happen today. All right, so we've got the chain, we've got the wheel. You put the shock back on. And I grabbed the brake rod, the brake pedal. Oh, I need to probably, yeah, we'll put the brake on, I guess, maybe before we put foot pegs on it. Okay, so I've got the foot pedal, and I found a rod and the parts that we need for that. So let's move to the other side, and we'll put that on. I didn't grab a little washer, and I need to get a spring. Probably don't need a spring. And I need a pin for there, a pin for there, and I'll see if I've got a spring, and we'll grab those items and put that on. So I got the brake rod hooked up. I did not find, I'm out of brake. I could not find a spring. So I did not have that part here, a return spring. So I'll have to order some of those. But I got foot pegs on it, brake pedal on it. I even found an engine guard that we're going to put on it, and then we'll put the spark plug guard. But first, I think we need to get the exhaust on it before we go fitting the engine guard, in case we need to kind of tweak the engine guard some to get it to go. So give me a second. Just gonna go with the cheapy Chinese aftermarket exhaust. I know I haven't put a gasket in it yet. I'm just trying to see if it will go without, if I need to modify this bracket back here. All right, we're going to have to, for right now, I'm just gonna cut that opening. It doesn't quite fit. If I was doing this right, I would completely cut this bracket off and move it back about 1/2 of an inch. But for right now, I'm just going to slice that opening, and then we'll just put a wash over top of it. Give me just a second. All right, so I just opened that up. Let's see. So I did not grab, let me grab a couple nuts to put on the exhaust. We'll hold it up there. These aftermarket exhausts, the collar is welded to it, so you don't have those two little halves that you have to. And where did my exhaust gasket just go? All right, won't take the time to look for it. Let's grab another one. Get up in there. That. Hook that back there. I messed up. To get the spark plug guard on, we got to take this bracket, this shield off. Let's see if we can get it off with it sitting there without having to pull the entire exhaust back off again. Excuse me, step in front of you. Still don't see that exhaust gasket. Where'd that thing roll off to? Go underneath there? No. Huh. I don't know where it went. All right. Get rid of that. Now, put that on there. Small socket. That 10mm wrench. All right, I'm gonna take a second, tighten those up, and grab a spark plug guard and put on there. Okay, there's that. And what I normally do is I cut this little shield, just cut it off about right in there, and just use the top clamp. So, because there's clearance in here for it to fit, but not all the way down there at the bottom where the bend is. So we just kind of cut it, stick it back behind there, kind of hide it, boom, put it on. Okay, there is one threaded hole up here on the That one has threads in it. This one is just an open hole because it's got a little clip that fits in there and then comes down in threads. So we're going to put some self-tapping screws in there if I have some. Let's see what we've got here. Give me a second and let me get the right tools I need to do this. So I'm just going to use some of these. This first one should be fairly easy because there's already the beginning of a hole there. There's that one. And then I'm not gonna move the camera, but I gotta come over here and do the same thing. Hold the guard up there to where I want it. And put it in, so I got to put one more in, and then our engine guard will be done. Well, it's looking more and more like a bike. I went ahead and put the clutch cable and the front brake cable on. I think we are down to putting a throttle, a carburetor, and then my biggest concern is the fuel tank. I don't know if I have a fuel tank that'll fit it. So let me grab a couple parts here. I'm just going to go with the carb I've been using that I get off of Amazon. Oh, if you can see that right there. Anyway, that. And then this is the throttle kit, twist throttle. So I'm going to get these things opened up and get them put on. And then the last thing also is the electrical. I'm on the wrong side of my little cart here. I buy this kit. It doesn't have a number on. I get this off of Amazon also, but it's got a kill switch, the coil, CDI. Actually has a spark plug in it, but the things that we're going to need to put on this bike to get it to run. So you've seen me do those things a few times. I'm getting crunched on time. It's about 2:30 now. So what are we in? 3 hours in? We started at 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 2:30. So 3 hours in. And I kind of like to finish this thing up pretty quickly. So, you know, it takes a little time turning camera on and off and getting set up. So I'm going to go ahead and you've seen me put carburetors on, seen me put throttles on. So I'm going to go ahead and button this up real quick, and then we'll see if it'll fire up. Well, we are entering the last lap on this project for today. Let's see if we can get some fuel to it. I've got a really long fuel line here. And I found a steel tank that I am hoping does not have holes in it. We're going to find out, I guess. I plugged off one of the ports. Because my carburetor only has one. You know what? I'm not gonna worry about a bracket for right now. Let's see. I need oh, that's way too big. That's way too big. Way too big. I wonder if I have any fuel shutoffs that I could put in line. Hang on just a second here, fellas. Let me see if I can get a smaller line on this shutoff valve. A 1/4-inch line fits the tank really well, but it's too big for the inlet on these carburetors. Okay. I'm going to wrestle with this just for a second. I've got like a 3/16 line, and I'm going to try and force it over that 1/4-inch nipple there. Hook my line from my tank to this end, and then cut this off to go to the carburetors. Hang on. Well, guys, it is, what time is it? It is 3:06 on Monday, April 11th. We started at around 11:30. And I think we are ready to put some fuel in it. Now, as a reminder, we didn't do anything with lights. None of these lights are going to work. I just had the simple wiring harness to allow the bike to run. So I think it is time. Put this down a little bit. Hopefully this tank holds fuel. Well, I see some coming to the carb. That ought to be more than enough for what we want to do. Is it running out the bottom? I don't see it. I feel like I've got the brakes a little tight. I'm going to roll it out here in the other shop, and I'll come back and get you guys in just a second, and we'll see if it fires up. Well, there it is. It's not a looker. You know, we didn't go after. Hopefully this side shows up a little bit. There's a little dark on that side, yeah. Obviously we got the red hub, and you know, we didn't finish off some of these pieces, but the goal today was to see if we could take a bunch of parts and build a bike that we could start and ride at the end of the day. So now it's time to see if it'll start. We're going to give it some choke. Come on, warm up, baby. I'm gonna go get my stand, take it outside, and we'll rip it around the parking lot for a minute. You know, if you'll watch my last build on that SL70, I used one of these Lifen engines, and it wound up having a bad stator. This engine is from the same batch. I bought 5 of them. Got them super cheap delivered to me. I'm beginning to think, I understand why now. I think this one's got a bad stator too. It's not compatible with what we're doing or something. Yeah, it kind of bucks, and I don't think it's fuel. I think it's electrical. Not neutral. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for following along. I met my goal. That was to build a bike out of used parts and take it for a ride today. And wasn't much of a ride, but we did do that. So, all right, I got some stuff to do around the house, so may not make videos for a few weeks. So until I see you on the next one, later.